The vice president of a business unit tells to all the employees in a big hands-on meeting that from now on, we will do all development with Scrum. And by the way, the testing will be outsourced to India.
Nice. It sounds like a very good Scrum implementation. Maybe it's aligned with the new Scrum guide. We don't know. Maybe the next version. Hi, Wolfi.
Hi, Elad.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our sixth. This is number 6. Who would have thought? 6 video cast. So my name is Elad. With me, as always, is Wolfi. Hello. And we are both certified LeSS trainers, and we are here to bring you our thoughts and information from our perspective about the Scrum world and the LeSS world. And for this episode, we are going to discuss the upcoming changes to the Scrum guide, which has been a very hot topic in the communities all over, right? So just a quick reminder of the format. Each of us will have 5 minutes. We'll have a time box to answer the question. Whatever fits in the time minutes fits, what not, might go to the next iteration.
Okay, and just as a disclaimer, we do not have a copy of the latest Scrum guide. So all our talk is based on information which leaked and rumors.
Yes, which is one of the problems. We'll talk about that. So, Wolfi, are you ready? I'm going to start the timer.
Yes.
Then there we go. What do you think? Just what do you think about the new Scrum guide changes? You've read it, you've seen the rumors. Let me hear it.
Well, based on the information that I now have, yeah, and as I said, it's limited, I think there are some changes which are aligned with my mental models and some which are not, and some items, they worry me in a way. So a few things which I like the Scrum guide is now planned to be only 13 pages long, so more with less, that's a good thing. The removal of the 3 questions in the daily Scrum, I think that's also very good because those questions typically shifted towards me, so towards the individual, away from the focus of the work. So I think that's really a positive thing. Then they used now the definition of self-managing, which actually is defined by Richard Hackman in Leading Teams, compared to self-organizing, which is not very well defined in literature. And then we come to an interesting point, which has pros and cons. And the pro side is that, so there seems to be a problem between PO and team, and now they attempt to bridge this problem, us versus them. And I think because we are sitting, of course, all in the same boat, and collaboration is very key to a successful product development. So that's why this is, I think, quite important and good. However, it seems to be that this actually is a quick fix solution, or what we call a LeSS quick fix, which we see more in a moment what this might lead to. Then a few things which worry me is like they talk now about accountability, and that typically leaves a bitter taste. So I remember the video from Yves Moreau and his plead for fuzziness, yeah, instead of accountability. So that you don't drop the baton, and then what happens to it? So collaboration is key. And then the usage of a team sprint goal is now strengthened. So it became an artifact. And that is really something in the context of large-scale Scrum, especially, which is a problem because it might lead that to strengthen the local team identity. So if every team has a sprint goal, a team level sprint goal, then the product level identity and the collaboration again is harmed. And that might be a big issue. So that's why we don't have actually a sprint goal in LeSS. And the other thing, the new concept of a product goal might be a good thing. I'm not sure yet. So if it's thought like in, for example, specification by example, where the goal is inspired by the customer's problem, that might be okay. But then I don't understand what's the difference to product vision now. And maybe would the term release goal be a better term? Is this actually what they mean? So anyway, it should be a recommendation and not a rule in form of an artifact. So I'm very worried about this one. And then I think the biggest thing is really this removal of the development team. So I have mixed feelings here. So now there will be only Scrum team, and this will bring a whole new set of issues in the context of scaling. So we were wondering, where is it coming from? Is it a compromise, or if yes, between whom? It seems to be very fuzzy, and for less it might mean that we need to deviate stronger from the Scrum guide, because the less principle large-scale Scrum is Scrum. We need to rethink about it because it's not valid any longer. So we cannot use the Scrum guide as a major building block for less. And well, even today, with the new Scrum guide, we have seen in larger organizations this dysfunctional setup of having a multi-Scrum team way of working. So this means a copy-paste of the Scrum team. So n times this setup of PO, Scrum Master, and development team. And this setup typically leads to the situation that the product owner is becoming a business analyst or a requirement engineer, coordinator, and the teams, they become component teams, and they don't have the skills anymore to develop an end-to-end customer feature for a product increment. So they are losing this, and we have seen in all sorts of troubles what this leads even to basically a stillstand of the entire organization. So I think those are my worries and my thoughts, and the positive and negative, what I think about it.
Wow. That was amazing, Wolfi, because you just finished on the last second of your 5 minutes.
I know.
This is German punctuality.
10+ year project manager.
Would never work in my case. Okay, great. I'm going to share some thoughts about your answer later on. Okay. So, and I do have some thoughts about your question. Yes.
Okay. So, Elad, what's your take?
Okay. I'm gonna talk not about so much about the content of the Scrum guide, because I'm going to refer to it, but I think in the last maybe month or so, since the rumors were starting to be published, I have my concerns and questions regarding the Scrum guide, the changes, but I have some more concerns about the how it was created. And when I went back to like my old Scrum training and when I first was introduced to Scrum in the middle of the 2000, 2005, 2006, one of the things that I was, people explained to me were the values, the Scrum values. And it seems to me, and I've given it some thought, that I don't know if it happened before, but this last process of changing the Scrum guide was not very much aligned with the Scrum values. And I want to just go through them. First of all, so what are the Scrum values that we have, right? We have courage, we have commitment, we have focus, respect, and openness. Those are the 5 Scrum values, at least from what I'm aware. They were not touched. Maybe if there were changes as well, that would have been. And let me go through those values for a second, and let's start with courage. Okay, so courage. It seems to me, and based on my opinion only, that the Scrum guide is still reluctant on taking a strong stand on some of the things, like is the Scrum Master a full-time role? Who is responsible for removing the impediments? Is it still the Scrum Master? Is it the team? Is it all of like? And my assumption is that Ken and Jeff are super intelligent and smart people. I'm sure they have a stand on this. Also, looking at the fact that they have their own frameworks, which are not always aligned. So to me, this vagueness translates or interpreted as lack of courage, to be controversial, to just say, this is what I think, like it or not. Commitment, second value. So the Scrum guide, what is it committed to? I mean, in my perspective, it was committed back then to deliver a message that will ultimately change the way that we think, change the way that the IT or the product development world works. and I think we have lost that commitment. And I'm not sure what the commitment is because I haven't talked with anyone, and also nobody talked with me. Nobody shared what we are committed to, right? It's still definitely my feeling is that we have I don't know, lost that commitment of changing the world, and we are trying to make too many people happy, so that people will feel comfortable, which never was my experience with Scrum. Scrum never was intended to make someone feel comfortable. Focus, third value, is that we added, like you mentioned that, right? We added this product goal, and then we have the sprint goal as an artifact as well. And why are we adding more rules to the framework? How is that focused on maintaining this as a minimal framework intended to expose problems, right? By solving problems. We are now solving problems. The sprint goal is an attempt to solve a problem. We are deviating from the original idea of Scrum, and I think that's kind of losing focus, at least in my opinion. Respect is the next thing I want to discuss, and this has been real painful to me. I mean, the whole process of modifying the Scrum guide, including and without naming names, shaming of people who exposed some things that were shared in the group as if it was some secret, top secret stuff classified. I don't know what. And the lack of like exposure of this draft guide or anything like that, it does not seem very respectful, which also quickly shifts my thoughts into talking about openness, which is the last value. If we are open, then we are open, we are transparent, we share everything. And the fact that we are having this conversation based on rumors and based on a blog post from Ken and some document that was shared in some group, that is not openness to me. What happened to gathering feedback from customers? Why not share a draft with the world? I don't know, this kind of, 5 minutes.
Yep.
Close enough.
Close enough.
Yes, cool. So let's now move to the thoughts. Like, what did you think? So I'm going to start with you because
Yes.
I talked. Yeah. So did you have any insights or any aha moments?
Well, the biggest aha moment was that you actually did not go in the discussion to these details, but you actually lived up to the meta level and you said, okay, if these are the values you, Scrum Guide, want to be lived by, basically, then how about applying those same values to the own process? So I think that was actually a good point. And well, some of the things might be debatable. So, and yes, we don't understand the explanation. So maybe these explanations will come later. We don't know, maybe, hopefully. But then anyway, the Scrum Guide will be what it is, and we have to live with it. And then we will need to see, inspect and adapt how well it fits to LeSS, and where we then need to deviate and need to take corrective actions, basically. What I'm really agreeing with you the most is the last 2 points. So respect and openness. I mean, why is this make such a fussy thing? And could it not be more openly brought, at least that people can read, okay, what is the entire draft version, and not just what's the delta with a little bit of a breadcrumb here and there, but not giving you enough to really understand the full picture. And then again, the question is that who is the customer? So I believe there might be too many people who will comment, and then it might be again that you cannot take in all the feedback. That might well be. But on the other hand, I think that this vision of those two might have gotten lost. So what is their vision they want to have the Scrum to be developed to, in which direction, and are we still on this path, or have we deviated from this path? And I think that's why it was beneficial to take it up on the meta level and not look at the details themselves.
Thank you. So let me share my thoughts when you spoke. So
yes.
First of all, I realized that when thinking about this video cast and what, like in general terms, I want to say, what I want to focus on, I really focused on the negative side. I really focused on, like what's wrong. And when you spoke, you started with what do you like about the Scrum Guide? And actually, I kind of caught myself emotionally, maybe even a little bit mad about what's going on, and the fact that like I was like I was left out, and that maybe your statement helped me also focus back on the good things that actually happened. So it's not all bad or good, right? It's the same. At the same time, I think that I really agree with you that it's really troubling, this lack of transparency. And I think that also goes back to local optimization. So if there's a problem in collecting feedback from thousands of people, not collecting feedback at all is a locally optimized solution. We are all making assumptions. We don't know what are the reasons, but something is fishy. I mean, it doesn't make sense that the Scrum Guide is being modified without any feedback, real feedback from the community. Even those who got to give feedback did it based on this one pager. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. I think it's coming out in the next week or so. So
yeah,
there's a release date.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Oof. That was thank you. It was an insightful moment for me, but it was also very draining energetically to discuss it. You know, the Scrum Guide and a question that I have, and definitely don't have an answer, is what will happen to Scrum of Scrums and Nexus? Because based on the new Scrum Guide, both of them are not aligned with Scrum anymore.
Yeah.
And of course, yes. So I think we talked enough. I think it's time to say goodbye.
Okay, so thank you very much for watching, and we hope you found this video valuable, and you invite you to post any comments below there in the YouTube channel, and questions you might have, ask or contact us directly. The contact information also is below the video. And please feel free to suggest topics for future episodes.
Yes,
Until then, see you next time, Elad. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.